Good morning, students. This is part 1 video subject Indian Economic Development. Chapter 7 Employment Growth, Informalization, and Other Issues. So, in this chapter, we are going to discuss about our economic growth, which is greatly depends upon employment opportunity of our country, and other issues in the sense unemployment problem. Okay, so what is a job? A paid position of regular employment. So everybody needs a job in order to meet out their day to day activity expenses. Okay, so what definition of employment? So employment is an agreement between top level management and low level management. Okay, so what is the agreement? Depends, the agreement depends on 3 points. One is designing work. So the top level management, is the duty of top level management. They have to design work according to their skills of their labor. Okay, so skills in the sense according to their educational qualification. Second one, workforce means second one is workplace. The top level management recruit their employees from various district, various state, even from various countries. They need one common place for working. Okay, so the top level management fix their workplace according to the convenient of workers. Okay, so mostly the top management will select the metropolitan cities. Okay, that is common place. And then in exchange for work performed, the employee receives compensation. So for their hard works of employees, the top level management has to give them wages and salaries. Various types of jobs: plumber, electrician, carpenter, baker, butcher, bricklayer, blacksmith, roofer, mechanic, draft person, locksmith. Professionals like doctors, lawyers, scientists, dentists, geologists, architect, accountant, actuary. I think you don't know about actuary. Actuary is nothing but a person who has sound knowledge in mathematics, statistics, and financial theory. Okay, so they have to predict the uncertainty which is going to happen in future. That posting is called actuary. Pilot, sea captain, cosmologist, farm labor, assembly line worker, grocery clerk, custodial worker, cleaner, painter, maid, fruit picker, guard, etc. Why is employment is important? So why we have to go for a job? So employment is greatly depends on economic growth. Economic growth of any nation is greatly depends on employment. Through employment, the person gets some money. He is getting money not only for him, not only for his family or her family, but for our nation. Okay, so the employment plays a vital role in economic development of our country. Listen. So employment contributes to economic growth. Workers produce valuable goods and service and in turn receive a wage which they can spend on buying goods produced. High employment means a greater number of goods can be produced as well. I will explain you. Before 20 years or 30 years, the luxury goods such as washing machine, air conditioner, mixie, grinder was luxurious goods. Okay, so nowadays this luxurious goods turn into necessary goods. So necessary goods means the women, that the female have to use that machinery oftenly, daily they have to use. So why the working women, the females are started to use this luxurious goods? Because so in this modernized world, both father and mother in a family both are a working person. Okay, so the female worker, she can't work with that old technology like ammi artural, okay, then hand washing, like that they have to use mixie, and then washing machine, and then air conditioner, some sophisticated items. Okay, so through employment they will get more income. So more income, they will start to invest in land, buildings. Okay, so they start to build bungalows, they purchase car, sophisticated car, two wheelers, like that. So investment increases, it automatically increase the production. So production of goods and service increase. If production of goods and service increase, the company has to appoint skilled and unskilled labor. Okay, so if the company appoint skilled and unskilled labor, they have to receive salary. So the salary of the worker will be increased if the production of goods and service increase. Okay, so this will automatically leads to economic growth. GDP, that is gross domestic product. So gross domestic product is the market value of all final goods and services produced in a country in a given period of time. Given period of time in the sense quarter, half yearly, or then yearly. Okay, so the market value. So market value means if a raw material cost rupees 8. Okay, so it includes wages given to worker, and then transportation charges, and then taxes. So the raw material value will be increased to 15 rupees, from 8 rupees to 15 rupees. It's called market value. Okay, yes. Formula for GDP, formula for to find out gross domestic product, that is consumption plus government spending plus investment plus NX. So consumption in the sense consuming of foods. Okay, plus G, that is government spending on educational institution, health sector, infrastructure sector. And then investment in the sense investment in gold, land, building, and share market. NX in the sense export plus import of a country. Negative growth rate. So negative growth rates and economic contraction. So if the GDP growth rate is very low, then there will be decrease in real income of an individual, higher unemployment problem, low level of industrial production, and decline in wholesale or retail sales. And then positive economic growth. If the economic growth is in positive condition, the real income of an individual start to increase. Money supply will be more. Employment opportunity will be more. There will be more production. That is industrial output will be very high. India's real growth rate of 6.8% in 2018. Write it down in your economics book. Okay, so the country's economic growth at 6.1% for 2019. So our economist, okay, so they planned to achieve 7% in 2020. So unfortunately we are in lockdown. Okay, the COVID-19, the pandemic situation, we can't achieve this 7%. Then Gross national product in the sense the total value of all final product. We have seen in domestic gross domestic product, only the market value of all final goods and service. In gross national product, its estimate of total value of all final products and service turn out in a given period in the sense a year, okay, by means of production owned by a country's resident. So the goods and service they have to produce in our home country itself. Trade surplus and deficit. If export exceeds import, that is called a surplus, trade surplus. If export are less than import, it is called trade deficit. Okay. So if our goods are exported continuously, so the foreign currency will flow inside our home country. Okay. So cash inflow, it will be added advantages that result in trade surplus. Export are less than import. So import means we have to get some goods and service from other countries. In this case, we have to pay our currency to abroad countries. So in this sense, the cash is outflow. Okay. So this is called trade deficit. The nature of employment in India is multifaceted. It's nothing but the employment, various types of employment. Here, some get employment throughout the year, that is white collar job. Okay. So through their life they will work. Okay. Up to the age of 58, their retirement. Some other get employed only for few months in a year, that is agriculturist, only 6 months they have work in their field. Okay, many workers do not get fair wages for their work. Fair wages for their work in the sense, example, scavengers. So data during 2011-12, India had about 473 million strong workforce. Okay, so and then rural worker constitute about 3/4 of this 473 million. So note that only rural workers. So 70% of men are the majority workforce in India. So remaining 30% are women. See, women workers account for 1/3 of the rural area, whereas in urban area only 1/5 of the workforce. Can you guess why? What the data is saying is that rural women are working more than that of urban women, even though urban females are well educated, stylish and well knowledged person when compared to rural females. Okay, so even though urban women are well educated, only 1/5 of the workforce is contributed. See here, in a rural area 1/3 of rural workforce are taken into account. Why women workers in rural area are working more? Because in rural areas people cannot stay at home as their economic condition was so poor. They have to meet out their day-to-day activity expenses. So in order to meet that, they have to work. Both men and women has to work. So women they start to work in agricultural field, and then rearing cattle, and then going work for industries such as fireworks, and then cotton industries, like that. Okay, so in our house women carry out works like cooking, fetching water, washing utensils, washing clothes, ironing, stitching, okay, cleaning, everything our mother is doing. Okay, whether our father is giving any remuneration to our mother as you are working continuously throughout the year. So every month I am going to pay you 50,000, or every month I am going to give 5 pounds of gold, like that. No. So no father will reward for mother's duty. Okay. So what our economists are telling, that even though all the females are working in their house, okay, is not considered as worker. Okay, because they are not rewarded, because our mothers are not rewarded. Okay, so whether father is giving money, no. Okay, so it is considered as the responsibility of mother females to work in their house. Okay. Yes. Participation of people in employment. Next one, participation of people in employment, that is worker population ratio, is an important indicator which is used to find the actively contribution to the production of goods and service of a country. Okay, we are going to find out how much portion of population is contributing to our national income. So formula, total number of worker divided by population into 100. I have given you an example. Region estimates of population, worker population ratio estimated of workers, rural urban total. Okay, so 71.88 estimates of population, and then worker population ratio 41.9, estimated number of workers, that is 71.88 divided by 100, that is estimates of population divided by 100 into worker population ratio. Was the worker population ratio 41.9, then we will get 30.12. Like that we have to apply the formula. Okay. Next one, so worker population ratio in India 2009-10. Okay, so in your book they have given 2011-12. So see the last total, that is total of men, women. Okay, 39.2, and then in rural side 40.8, so urban side 35.0. For every 100%, about 39. Okay, so about 39 are workers in India in urban area. So urban area, how much? Only 35. Okay, whereas in rural area 40. See the portion of contribution. So the portion of workers contribution in rural is 40.8, that is 41, while comparing to urban only 35. So urban area they have sufficient working opportunities, even though the contribution is from rural areas. So why there is such much of difference? People in rural areas have only limited resources to earn income and participate more in the employment market. Okay, so another one drawback is the students, they won't continue their schools, colleges and in training institution. Even if some go, they will discontinue in the middle to join the workforce. So why they are going for work? So they are going for work for getting some money to meet their very basic needs. Okay, whereas in urban areas a considered section is able to study in various educational institution, and urban people have a variety of employment opportunities. They can select which is job we can go, which job it suits for us. So the person, they can select job according to their qualification and skills. So in rural area people cannot stay at home, okay, due to their economic condition. They have to work. So the workers population ratio in rural sector is high when compared to urban sector. Thank you, ma. We can see the remaining